Hey, shalom. I know it's been a minute. I got through Proverbs and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. And then, a couple days I was thinking about it. I'm probably gonna be doing. I'm probably gonna start reading the weekly Torah portions. I think that's a good. I kind of thought about just starting in Genesis, Bereshit, and going through the entirety of the Bible. But there's other people who have done that, and I think I just want to do the Torah portion. My wife was interested in like picking a topic and then me doing like a kind of like she would open a random scripture and find something that she liked and then me doing a video on that, and I might do that too. We're also we're also getting ready to buy some land. Hopefully everything goes through on that, so I'm going to be very busy in the coming time. And I'm thinking, I was trying to do engagement every day, but it was getting really tough for me to stay on that target. So I think I'm going to try to do at least 2 videos a week. So yeah. In other news, got in my first ever truck accident. Not my fault, which is, what can you do? You can't control other people. Uh, so basically, I was getting on to 69 highway, just in Kansas City in Overland Park, coming off of 123rd Street. I believe that's Antioch, or around Antioch. Coming off the 123rd Street overpass, getting onto 69 highway, going down to Pittsburgh, Kansas. And as I am getting on the basically getting on the highway, so I'm getting on the on ramp, which is an overpass that goes over the 69 highway and then goes onto it. I look up and over and I see, hey, there's traffic stopping. Like, I see a bunch of brake lights, so I'm like, oh, there must be something going on up ahead. So I begin to slow down. Like, I'm already starting to slow down. I was accelerating and going downhill, getting ready to merge onto the highway, but I look up and I see all these brake lights, so I start to slow down. And so, I'm slowing down at a decent rate. I was around 45 miles an hour. 50 I was at 50 miles an hour because it was, merging onto the on ramp, and then I dropped down to 45 and was going towards 40 miles an hour ish. I don't remember exactly where I was at, when all of a sudden I see this white blur just out of the corner of my eye, like right here. I look over and I see this white blur, and I'm like, oh, there's a car, but it's going really fast. And then all of a sudden, it's right in front of me. Like, it cuts over from the left lane to right in front of me, and on my right side is a construction lane. Like, they've got it closed off for construction. And so this van, this little Dodge Ram work van, like little work van, just flies in front of me. And at this point, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta slow down because his brake lights were on too. And I'm like, oh, he must have like thought he could cut in front of me and misjudged it or something. And so now I'm having to like hard stop. I'm applying my brakes hard because he literally cut me off. And as he does that, I'm hard stopping now. So I'm dropping speed fast, and my tablet goes off, bling, critical alert, hard stop, because we have sensors in our truck, so that if we have a hard stop, or if we turn too hard, or if there's a stability issue of any kind, like, our office gets a notification, partly to keep us drivers honest, and also just kind of like as a safety feature, because when those critical alerts happen, our cameras also kick on. They're always kind of running in the background, but they timestamp and mark, so it's like a safety feature for us. Anyways, comes in front of me, keeps going to the right, like just keeps going to the right, takes out a cone, like one of those big construction cones, just poof, takes it out. And I'm like, okay, cool, like, I slowed down, he missed me, like, I got a critical alert, whatever, they've got the cameras, they'll see that he cut me off, I'm not worried about it. And then all of a sudden, all I see is his face looking at me as he's coming back into the lane, and his eyes are big as saucers, and I'm just like, no. And poof, my truck, which is, now going like 35-ish, 25-ish miles an hour, just goes poof right into his side as he veers back into my lane right in front of me. And, it just like, it was kind of comical after the fact because his little van just bounced right off my truck. Just twing. And I was like, dang it. I said something other than dang it, but I'm going to try to keep it, PG here. And, at that point, I have now come to a complete stop after, basically he, crashed into the side of my truck. The front quarter, the front quarter panel, basically right where the passenger steer tire is. His van had basically bounced off my truck and is now kind of, weirdly angled into the construction lane. And so, I'm stopped, he stopped. His front door is caved in slightly. The little protector guard thing, whatever, is hanging off his door. He gets out and he's like, hey, are you okay? And I'm just like, yeah. And I'm like, are you okay? Because, like his driver's side door is pushed in. And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And then I was like, okay, let's pull up and out of the way because there's still a bunch of traffic coming on and there's still that accident. There was an accident up in front of us. What it turned out to be like half a mile down the road, there was another accident. So he gets up and I get pulled off into the construction lane. I maneuver in between the cones and get pulled off. And, I get out and I look at the damage. And I'll just get down and show you guys what it looks like. I'm parked. Don't worry, I got 3 points of contact. 3 points of contact. But I get out and I look at the damage and I'm just like, man, screw me up, because now they got to replace my headlight. So you can see that's that's where he scuffed right there. I think that's his mirror. That black scuff right there, I think that's his mirror, where his mirror hit. Because his mirror was pretty roughed up. And then, so that all got cracked. There's a scuff down there. There's some minor, like you see the hood got some frame damage. There's some more of his paint right there. And then you can see on my lugs, yeah, that white paint from his van, but luckily that was it. There wasn't damage to the tire, there wasn't damage to the valve stem, I didn't get any other damage besides where his mirror basically bounced into me. So, that was it. But yeah, so, it sucked. I was like, man. So, we pulled over, but he was cool about it. I got my triangles out. I started calling the accident line for my company. The police officer on the motorcycle came down, but he was like, are you guys good? And we're just like, yeah. He's like, I'll come back. And they're like, yeah, sure, go deal with that other accident, because that other accident looked worse. They actually had to tow that car off the road. It was a worse damage. And anyways, so yeah, my wife's calling me on Messenger. I'll get back to you, sweetie. Anyways, yeah, 3 points of contact. Yeah, okay. Anyways, the officer comes back. After a few, maybe 15-20 minutes, and I'm still on the phone with the accident, and the officer comes back and he talks to the other guy, and the other guy was cool about it. He's like, yeah, it was my fault. I wasn't paying attention to the traffic up ahead, and I swerved over, and I thought I could get back in the lane, and I didn't realize, the truck, I didn't. So he basically wasn't paying attention, and he swerved and thought he could get back in, and didn't realize that he had literally just missed a massive truck. I was like, how do you not see the orange trailer? The bright orange trailer. How did you miss that as you were passing it? But, whatever. And, but he was cool about it. But the funny thing was, after the officer got done talking with me, and it was like, hey, you know, you're not in trouble or gonna get cited because you were doing the correct stuff, you know, like, he already admitted to doing all that, you know, he already admitted to swerving over and hitting you, so, like, you know, it's not a deal. Like, we're not going to cite you. He's going to get cited for unsafe operation of a motor vehicle or whatever. So I just need your statement and, you know, your load information, everything, and I'll do the accident report, and, you know, that way your company will have it. It's like, yeah, cool. So I gave him all that stuff, and so I went to talk to the other guy, and I was like, hey, man, are you okay? Like, you good? And it was funny because when he got out of his van, I noticed he had Zeet Seal on. You know, he just like I do, white Zeet Seal. Mine aren't so white anymore. They're they're definitely, I wear them. I do wash them. They do go through the laundry, but, you know, they've been used heavily. They're the only pair of Zeet Seat I have. I wore, but, you know, I was like, these have lasted really good. I think I bought these from Grindstone a couple years back when they first were doing Zeet Seat. I don't know if they're still doing Zeet Seat. It was either from Refuge Medical or Grindstone. I picked them up. I had another pair of, actually, I did have another pair of Zeet Seat that were kind of of different material, but I like the paracord ones better. But anyways, he was wearing some Zeet Seat, and so anyways, after like everything was cool, I was like, hey man, shalom, by the way, I noticed you got Zeet Seat on. And he's like, oh yeah, and then he looked at my belt line. He's like, oh, you have Zeet Seat too, and I was just like, yeah. And he's like, which group do you go to out here? And it's like, oh no, I'm not from here. I'm from Topeka. And he's like, well, I'm from a Messianic group out here. And so, you know, we had a quick chat about that. And I was just like, hey, that's really cool. You know, like, sucks that we had an accident, but hey, you know, we got to meet each other. So, you know, whatever. You know, I'm just glad that there was no serious damage. I mean, I'm going to be down. Like, it sucks. My week's I'm gonna probably lose some money this week because they're gonna have to replace my headlight before I can go back out. So I'm gonna be down probably for at least the morning. Like, hopefully they can do it real quick and just swap the headlight, and that's all. But I have a feeling I might be down on maintenance tomorrow for some time. And it's just like, well, why can't you take any of these other trucks that are out here? Well, ish, but we don't really have that many spare trucks, and I honestly don't want to take another truck because I like my truck, and I have all my stuff in my truck, and I really don't want to take all my stuff out of my truck and put it in another truck just to put it back in my truck. So, you know what? You know, that's just the reality of trucking. Sometimes you suffer some downtime due to maintenance issues or whatnot, or accident, but I'm just really glad that no one was hurt, and I'm also really glad that it wasn't my fault because I'm still in the running for 1,000,000 miles of safe driving, and I don't want to reset like that. I'm very careful when I drive because I want to try to make it to 1,000,000 miles. I don't know if I'm gonna, but, you know, there's a part of me that kind of really wants to make it to 1,000,000 miles of safe driving. Of course, that means I'd have to work at this company for probably another 4 or 5 years, and I'm just probably not gonna happen because when we go down to Oklahoma, when we go down to Oklahoma, I'm probably not going to be driving for Schneider. I'm probably going to be doing something else that I can do and have a regular day and still work on the homestead. Like, if I can find, my sweet spot is if I can find a job where I either work at night and then, you know, like a late afternoon, like go in at like 6 and stay until like, you know, midnight or something, like an afternoon shift, and then that way I can have the morning and afternoon to work on the homestead, like get a couple hours of sleep, you know, when the sun comes up at 6, you know, do homestead stuff and then go to work in the afternoon. Like, that's what I want. But anyways, my wife is calling me again, so I better get off of here and answer her before she gets sad. I love you, babe. All right, I will catch you all later. You know, I'll keep making videos. Maybe more people will subscribe at some point. Maybe. If not, I'm just making these for myself. I can look back at my old age and be like, look at how stupid you were. All right. I'll catch you all later. Shalom.